I hope everyone's having a nice Thursday. So we're meeting on Tuesday for this week. Let's see.
We can't hear you. Well, I can't hear you.
Oh, can anyone else hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Make sure your sound is on and your Zoom is registering. Might be on the Zoom settings.
Someone's mic is muted or something because I cannot hear you.
Yeah. Oh, I need to do that as well. Bye. Hope you have fun at the lake.
Okay, I'm just going to allow another minute for everyone to join, or a couple more seconds here. Okay, well, we can go ahead and get started. First with just any general Vista updates. The one note that Angelica and I had was that the new Vista stipend increase will go into effect this month. You should see it on, I believe, your second payment of the month. I think it's around the 20th. Or the 21st, that is when you'll start seeing that increase in the stipend. If for some reason you do not, please reach out to your sponsor so that we can get in touch with AmeriCorps. But I'm glad to be able to share that the stipend's increasing and that you guys will all be able to see that increase in 2 weeks. Okay, so we'll go into our guest speaker. Today we have an amazing guest speaker, Dionne Washington, who's also a recent colleague of mine who led the Friends of the Farm program. She is the co-founder and executive director of Project Roots, and she'll be presenting to us today on sustainable agriculture. So Dionne, I'll pass it over to you to continue introducing yourself. Thank you so much.
Well, we were saying the same thing. You can tell we were colleagues. Thank you, Erica, for having me. And it's great to see some familiar faces and so exciting to see new ones. Congratulations on your stipend increases. That is fantastic to you all. So what I'm going to do, and yes, my name is Dionne Washington, guilty as charged. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see here. There we go. It says disabled participant. Let's see. I think I'm disabled from sharing my screen. So while they're working on that, I'll just tell you a little bit about myself. So I am a native from Phoenix, Arizona. I grew up in Glendale, Arizona, which is just another suburb in Phoenix, in Arizona. My mother taught in South Phoenix, which is a food apartheid, a food desert. And she was very passionate about educating kids and people on how to grow their own food. My grandfather also
hey, this is my other phone. I'm on Zoom on the other one.
And that's where my background just comes from, is just my mother teaching and my grandfather being a farmer. And here I am, a farmer, teaching kids on how to grow their own food and support farmers. And so just wanted to always shout them out and share a little bit about me and why I got into agriculture. Can you all see my presentation here?
Yes.
Awesome, thank you. All right, so sustainable agriculture. So really quickly, this agenda will go over an introduction about who I am, who we are, what is sustainable ag, and talk a little bit about sustainable ag in Arizona, a little bit of our future goals, any questions, and then my contact information. So a little introduction about me and my work in Arizona. So I am a local food producer and procurement person. What I do is grow food, sell it, at fair market pricing to people who really believe in local food systems and believe in local farmers. And I do that for myself as well as many other farmers in Arizona, California, and New Mexico. So we at the Arizona Community Hub here are technical assistance providers to all farmers, but particularly BIPOC farmers. We understand that they are underrepresented in Arizona. And so we are very, very passionate about identifying Black, Indigenous, and other people of color that are growing and producing food, connecting them with buyers who believe in them and what they're doing, and helping sustain their businesses, and doing that at a fair market value. So right now we are supporting farmers in Arizona, California, and New Mexico, and we believe in supporting socially underrepresented farmers like BIPOC farmers. So what is sustainable agriculture? Sustainable agriculture is 4 key elements. We are productive farmers and producers. We are profitable farmers and producers. We improve, I'll admit them. We improve the quality of life for our families and our communities, and we enhance and abundance our natural resources. So that is sustainable agriculture. It has just these 4 different pillars that we kind of go by. These are pillars that were enhanced by the USDA and the Sustainable Agricultural Center that they're connected to. So as far as being productive, we focus on biodiversity, soil health, water conservation, ecological pest management. We use crop rotation, cover crops, rotating grazing, and resistant varieties. We lower our use of tilling and chemical input as much as possible. So we try not to till our land and put any foreign chemicals in our soil. We're profitable, right? So we use sustainable practices that can be profitable for us, and we seek out different value-added strategies to increase products, as well as sell our own products through multiple channels and engage with communities to meet the demand for local food and better ensure that all people can access this food. And all that really is saying is that we're going to grow the food and we're going to try to market it to people who are believing in what we're doing. We're not growing food to give it to people who want to pay pennies on the dollar for our food. They value it and they pay high market, or not high market, fair market prices to us. Oftentimes there are, I love it. I'm so excited all these people are coming in this meeting. Oftentimes there are times where if we have like an like an excessive amount of eggplants, right? Because it's very hard to sell eggplants in Arizona. We may like wholesale it or donate it to a food bank, even though the tax benefits don't really fit us as small farmers. And we're anywhere between 150 acres or less. So we don't have the big farms to be able to say, oh, I'll discount you 50 cents or I'll just give my produce away. We wouldn't be sustainable. We wouldn't be profitable with that type of set. However, there are several large farmers in Arizona, McClendon's to be, for an example, that probably could offer something like that because they have thousands and thousands of acres of land that they can grow on. We'd like to enhance by focusing on water preservation practices. We all know in Arizona that we are having a seriously water drought issue right now. And we're working on our farm to improve our farm's overall health and resilience. So things like soil health, are we being very, very responsible with our water management? Are we controlling any types of welcoming pests? You know, we call it pest management, not pest control, right? Because we can't control what these pests are going to do, but we can definitely try to manage how they're affecting our food. And then finally, just improving the quality of life for our families and communities. I feel like this is such a big pillar and one that we miss sometimes. We're always growing food or trying to sell that food, and we forget that we need to teach our community and other people how to grow this food too, if they're interested, and just share more with our peers. You know, it's not a competitive industry, at least not for us it is. We feel like we're all strong in certain areas of what we grow, and how can we just work together to just continue to be sustainable? So the legal definition is to satisfy human food and fiber needs, to enhance environment and quality, and the natural resource base upon which the agriculture economy depends, making the most efficient use of non-renewable resources, and on-farm resources and integrate where appropriate natural biological cycles and controls. Sustain economic viability of farm operations and enhance the quality of life for farmers and society as a whole. And again, that's just like thinking about every single thing that a farmer or a farm needs to have to be sustainable. And that definition is on the USDA site if anyone's curious. So, sustainable ag in Arizona. As I mentioned before, there are some serious water level issues at different lakes, but particularly at Lake Mead, which is our largest reservoir in Arizona. So different ways on how to farm and manage water has been interesting. There's a certain type of growing called agrivoltaics, and that is a type of growing study that I'm researching right now, using water, soil, and solar to help with the flood irrigation that I normally use. So my plot at Spaces of Opportunity is 1.5 acres big. Half of that acre I flood, and the other half, or the rest of it, I have on a drip system. What I'm trying to do is really measure how much water I'm using, how much weeds I'm feeding with water when I flood. And then I'm also trying to measure how expensive was it for me to make that other half of my farm a drip system, getting a large water tank, all of those different things, and just comparing the cost between the two different types of growing. In the center there, it says that Arizona agribusinesses, including tribal agriculture, contributes 23.3 billion to the state's economy, according to a study by the U of A. So agribusiness is huge. I will say that I did other things in my career before farming, and farming has definitely been the most financially sound and consistent. I'm very, very grateful for it. So our future goals here at Project Roots and at the Arizona Community Hub is to do those things, is to be sustainable. Number one thing is growing food. You know, we always say at Project Roots, our hashtag is grow your own food. You know, we can give food all day away to you. We can have your boxes ready for you at food banks to pick up. But there's something to say when you teach someone how to grow their own food. And yes, you can grow carrots like these in Arizona. A lot of people don't think you can grow here, but you can. The other way of growing, which I'm also tapping into, I just bought my first tower garden, is vertical farming and hydroponics. So it takes up so less space than my regular farm. So one of these towers can produce anywhere between 32 to 52 plants on one tower, which is double of what I would get if I planted in my yard or on my plot at Spaces of Opportunity. Water, it uses less than half or more than half of what I use at my drip side. So I've got flood, I've got drip, and now I've got hydroponic planting. My hydroponic planting is the one that uses the less amount of water. The tub at the bottom of this particular one here, that's about 5 gallons. To produce these carrots here, it takes several hundreds of gallons of water for me to produce the same carrots. And you can grow carrots on here, by the way. Another thing is just making sure we're being aware of our community around us. So our farm is in South Phoenix. Those 2 kids right there were at our kids class that we have once a month that we teach our kids on how to grow food and their families. And then to the last one is just our volunteer program. You can come out to Spaces of Opportunity and volunteer at any of the farms, not just Project Roots, but there's so many others that you can partner and volunteer with. But that's really the whole concept of, you know, sustainable agriculture. This is my contact information. You can definitely take a picture of it and keep my information if you want. I don't like really hearing myself talk a lot, so I'm going to stop sharing now and allow for like questions or any comments. I know I like flew through that because we could really talk about each pillar in greater detail, but I just kind of wanted to give you like an overview of what sustainable agriculture is. It's just really our responsibility as farmers and food producers to make sure that we're being sustainable, smart, productive, and we're growing food for profit, but also we're leaving the land really good and healthy for the people that are coming behind us. And that truly is the heart of sustainability there. It's just, are we thinking about those farmers that are coming after us, those future farmers? So I'm going to stop talking and let people ask any questions. If there's questions in the chat, feel free to.
I see we have Theo who raised his hand. Hi, Theo.
Hello. So I have a lot of questions, but I'm only going to ask 2 for right now.
Right.
I've been noticing I've been getting more into sustainable agriculture, been excited to be more in getting more involved in it. So I have a lot of questions I'm probably going to email you about specifically. So my question is, why aren't hydroponic systems or tower gardens more prevalent, especially in more drought specific areas? And then is there because I know I was looking at one for inside my own flat as well, but they have a huge cost for them as being an individual. Is it the same cost for a farmer or for anyone looking to get into farming as well? And then kind of going off of that is, what are some of the biggest struggles for BIPOCs to start farming?
Great questions. Great questions. I'm looking forward to your email and all the others that you have. But the first one, tower gardens are new, I think, to Arizona. When I started about 5 years ago, I went to True Garden in Mesa, and I think they're one of maybe 2 or 3 in Arizona that have the several in their space. I currently have 12, and it's a community garden that operates off of itself, so it has the same motor and all those things to keep it cost effective. I think Tower Garden was thinking of us as farmers to make sure we're not buying motors for every single tower. It cost me $7,000. The community garden at Spaces of Opportunity, Project Roots, does about $60,000 of expenses towards that garden for labor, expenses, supplies, volunteer groups, and then finally harvesting the food. It costs us like 60 grand a year to facilitate that piece of land. So, and that community garden for $7,000, the Tower Gardens, is in my backyard in a covered shaded area. So, in hindsight, now I'm like, do I really need that piece of land at Spaces of Opportunity? Because I'm saving money, I'm saving water, and I'm saving soil, and I don't need a lot of access to land, which is really hard to find in Phoenix. So I hope that I answered that question for you. And you don't get a discount unless you're
recording in progress.
Unless you're a distributor. That's when you're able to get, I think, some type of wholesale deal. But I spent $7,000 on my community garden. And then as far as why is it hard for BIPOC farmers to get started? Oh boy, I think that's a whole nother webinar in itself and presentation in itself. But I just think it really bears down to the systemic issues that we have experienced in this industry. Just 100 years ago, Black farmers particularly owned about 14% of their land in the country. As of today, it's less than 2%. And so are we looking at those variables, like what happened? Just 100 years ago, we had more land. And why do we have less than 2% Black farmers when we need to grow food for people that look like me, that I can identify with and know, oh yeah, those collard greens, I know exactly what that is, or, oh, that cilantro is exactly what I needed for my salsa, are we matching different farmers with people who understand and really appreciate those different types of cultures? So I just think it's very systemic, but there's a lot of opportunity that the USDA is trying to empower and give to BIPOC farmers. The LFPA grant is here. It's for socially disadvantaged farmers. It's like $3 million for the next 3 years. Ask Erica about it. She knows a lot about it. And there's so much more. 2 Fridays ago, I was in a Feeding America call, a national call, and they had announced another $9 billion is going into agriculture through the Farm Bill. So it's just a good time to be a farmer. It's the right time to be a farmer. And particularly if you're socially disadvantaged, meaning being a white woman or any type of social disadvantages that you've been a part of, there's funding out there for you to support your efforts. Thanks, Theo.
Thank you so much. I was nodding my head the entire time, and I realized that you couldn't see me or anything like that, but that was wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. No problem. I do that all the time. Or I nod and I'm on mute and people are like, we can't hear you, but you're nodding and saying stuff.
We have quite a few questions that have come up in the chat. So I'll start with Christian. They asked, what plans do you have for water sustainability given the impending threat of water scarcity in the area?
Yeah, so for my land at Spaces of Opportunity, and I say my like it's mine, it's not, it's Project Roots land, but for that land, we are halfway, almost there to drip, completely drip. So we want to be responsible by offering drip. However, we run into the challenges of not being supported financially for supplies. A lot of grants want to buy our food, but they don't want to help us with our infrastructure. So we've only been able to manage what we can, raise funds for those things, ask Lowe's to help us. The Tower Gardens is really what I'm doing to help sustain or offer more sustainability and different ways of growing. And then particularly agrovoltaics, because I really want to implement the solar, water, and the land. I'll give you a quick example. At Project Roots, we have these pergolas, I think that's how you say it, or pergolas, however you say that. There's 3 of them and they're shade structures. What we want to do is attach solar panels to those 3 shade structures, attach them to the water tank that we have purchased from Home Depot. It's like a 25,000 water gallon tank, and have the sun, when the sun goes down, it trips the system for the water to water the food, which is best at night anyways. The temperatures are cooler and you're not going to really burn your food. You can burn your food when you water during the day. And so all of those things, we're working with the University of Arizona. We've done a great proposal and we're fundraising to embed solar and just agrovoltaics as a whole to our space at Spaces.
That's awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The next question we have is from Natalie. Have you heard of aeroponics with vertical farming? If so, could you share more about it?
Aeroponics, I haven't heard too much about or know about. I will say I've heard about it. And I'm just very, very familiar with the hydroponics right now. I'm doing a lot with the water, not necessarily with the air, but if that's something that you're passionate about, definitely seek it and seek like-minded people, even if it's not in your state, that are already doing it. That's kind of how I fell into hydroponics.
Let's see. Then we have Bolani. There was, it's a common or a question. Let's see. There was an African-American Black farmers project in Bisbee. I didn't make it, but are you familiar? If so, explain or provide further details.
Bisbee, I'm not for sure of, but I know that there was a recent tour in Douglas with the Southwest Black Ranchers group and Cruz Farms, which are both BIPOC. Cruz isn't necessarily Black, but he's a BIPOC farmer as well, and they worked together. But I'm not sure about a Bisbee couple that's Black. I would love more information though, Bonali, if you have it, feel free to connect them to me because I'm really trying to find all of the BIPOC farmers in Arizona, California, and New Mexico that I can support.
Thank you. Now we have Alicia, who asked, how do you reconcile profitability with making produce available for those who cannot afford their selling price? This is one of the problems we're dealing with, and how can we do both?
Great question. If your budget allows, give it away. If your budget allows. If it doesn't allow, do a sliding scale. If you can't do a sliding scale, do a heavy discount. There's always something that your community is going to appreciate if you can't just give this food away. Find some workarounds, find some discounts, a coupon of some sort that has your logo on it, something to make sure that food is being accessible. What we're doing at Project Roots is we're going to ask the Pinnacle Prevention that have some money to allow us to distribute produce for free in a CSA box style on a refrigerated truck on Sunday mornings when people normally meal plan and prepare. So there's a lot of cool ways you can get around that. The price point of it is just, but make sure you don't take it from the farmer, all right? Just make sure that you're paying the farmer the fair market price and get creative. What governmental, local, city, and federal and state can you be helping with the offset of that particular bag or box is what I would say. And I'm happy if you want to email me, we can bounce ideas off of each other too. I would love to talk more about that.
Thanks, Dionne. Next we have Natalie. Do you see, oh, I don't know if I can say this. Do you see agrivoltaics taking, is that what you've been saying?
I know I'm talking about.
Every time you said it, I'm like,
Agrivoltaics,
I don't know. Do you see it taking off well in the future?
Absolutely. I think we're a little late to the game, but we're hip to it. And I think that U of A, their Liverman Scholars Program at the University of Arizona did a whole capstone project on Project Roots with agrivoltaics, and they are stating that it is the true future of sustainable agriculture. So definitely, if you can embed, and grants are around that as well. So let's say you live in the city of Phoenix. Right now, the city of Phoenix has an $880,000 budget in sustainable agriculture and in environmental quality. So you could present something like an agrivoltaic project to them and they would fund it. In fact, they did with us. They're the ones who helped us put up our structures in our garden, the pergolas. They paid 14 grand to help us do that. And so, yeah, it's the future, and a lot of people want to support it.
And a follow-up question to that, what about complementary farming, like aquaponics with fish?
Yeah, I want to do that one so bad. I've been wanting to do aquaponics since I had a little garden in my backyard at my homestead. I think it's a great, an untapped market if you wanted to do that. I think maybe I know 4 or 5 farmers in Arizona at all that are growing that way. So definitely just another way of growing sustainably. You're utilizing animals to help with your grow. So I would just say be mindful of the vegans that you're serving, and be mindful and let them know how you grew this food if you're putting any type of animal products in your growing solutions.
Awesome. And then I had a question. You mentioned, grow your own food. What advice would you give to someone on getting started with wanting to grow their own food?
Just do one thing. I started with tomatoes, right? I was not, my grandfather was a farmer, my mom taught, and that's the beauty of, ta-da, I'm here. But really, I had to learn how to grow food, and I had to start with one plant. I killed those tomato plants at least 2 or 3 times before I was successful, but I promised myself I would not grow anything else until I mastered tomatoes. So just pick something that's easy. Use your extensions in whatever state you're in to find out what you can grow in your city and in your county. So for us, for Maricopa County, the University of Arizona has a planting calendar for me. And it'll say, okay, in the month of July, you can plant this, this, and this from seed or start or transplant. It even breaks it down that way. So, but that's for this county. So identify, just some different planting guides to help you, but, and then just pick one thing. And it's okay if you fail, do it again and do it again, because eventually that tomato or whatever you're trying to grow will take. Persistence is key. And test your soil, by the way, before you plant anything, test your soil. That's it.
Good tips. We have from Theo, what's been the hardest part of transitioning into this role? I'm not sure, into your executive role or in general, but
yeah,
Theo, jump in.
I love it. No, thanks, Theo. I think the hardest part has been the supporters of it understanding what I'm doing, because they're like, oh, but you're over here and you're over here, but you're there. And I'm like, yep, I'm everywhere, because that's where everybody is. There's Project Roots doesn't just do that. They do this, this, and this. And then Alhamka's over here and Shamba's over there. And sometimes I don't represent Shamba. So it's just been hard painting the picture to someone who wants to support what I'm doing. They just think I'm like this overachiever, which I am, who's doing a lot of different things. So I hope I answered that. It's not hard. It hasn't been hard. It's just been sharing with people all that I'm doing. How do you do that in 11 seconds? I don't know.
Next we have, do you know any of the farmers in Flagstaff, Arizona?
Yes, I do. Forestdale Farms is probably, I don't want to say my favorite because there's always a farmer on here that's like, you said that. But I really do like Forestdale Farms. I'm trying to think if there's another farm up there that I have bought from. No, I think that's my biggest one right now. There are, however, a lot of Navajo and Native American farms that I haven't had an opportunity to reach out to yet. I'm working with a foundation to help support my work with tribal, but there are a lot of tribal farmers in Flagstaff as well that really need a lot of support. Yay, I'm glad you love Forestdale. Yeah, they're awesome. They have classes. You can buy mini grow kits from them, and go visit their farm. They have like ducks and eggs, and they'll give you a tour. They grow everything from microgreens all the way up to you name it, which is, I share this with Erica a lot. Sometimes we get put in this one box of just growing microgreens, but then we have all these other things on our farm that we may not be offering a certain buyer, but we have. So go on some farm tours. And when you reach out to Forestdale, maybe ask them if they know of any other new farms that are expanding, because they're very well known in that area. Oh, the Fish's Garden. I'll check that system out. Thank you. Camp Verde. Okay.
And then we have another question. I know I'm seeing some comments in here. Thank you for your comments. We have Madison. Do you have any sustainable methods for pest management within community gardens?
Yeah. NC State has a great guide online. It's free. I will try to find the link and send it to Erica to send to everyone. But it's what we use, our pest management. And I say management, not control. Also, the University of Arizona has one. So I would say find your local support extension and see if they have any pest management, because I could tell you that bubble gum kills gophers, but then someone on this call will say that's very, very, that's not a humane way to handle and control your pests. So I would just say, reach out to your local extension and find very humane ways to deal with your pests in your gardens, as that's what we do as well.
Awesome. I think another question, or more so just something that would be nice to share, we have a combination of people here in Arizona, and then also Alabama and Arkansas. So, and you've mentioned, spaces of opportunity, Project Roots, Arizona Community Hub. It might be nice to just share kind of like briefly what each of those layers are, how they're connected.
Absolutely, I would love to do that. So I got my start in agriculture with Project Roots. Project Roots is a 501c3 community garden that grows food for those that need it. So to that person's question that was like, how can we just get the food out to people who can't afford it? Well, our method is Project Roots. That's exactly what we do. So we have 1.5 acres of land that we grow food on. We invite people from the community to come in and be community gardeners with us and learn with us, because we don't know what we're doing most of the time, but it's just very, very community driven. It's supported by donors. It's supported by local grant people as well. And we've been around for 3 years, and you can go to projectrootsaz.org if you want to learn more about it. I'm the co-founder there. I co-founded that organization with my friend, Bridget Pettis. She is a WNBA ex-player and coach for the Phoenix Mercury. And had a big passion on growing food. She lost her sister to kidney failure and kidney disease simply because she didn't have access to healthy food. She was eating out of gas stations and different places like that in Gary, Indiana. So we thought Project Roots was actually going to start in Gary, where Bridget is from. And of course, the famous Michael Jackson, of course. So we had big plans, but then COVID hit and we decided to start Project Roots here. The Arizona Food Bank Network was our very first contract, where we earned $99,000 from their grant to distribute well over 500,000 pounds of food to food banks. So that's what we do at Project Roots, is grow and give it away and find people who want to support that. At the Arizona Community Hub, which is what I left the Food Bank Network to do. I still run that, by the way, Project Roots. That's what I'm the executive director of, and I'm a volunteer there until we get funded for that. But at the Community Hub, we are an LLC. We are not a nonprofit, and we support farmers that are socially disadvantaged and BIPOC. We help them with grant writing. We help them with setting up bank accounts. I have an MBA, so I help them with any business things they need for outlining. If they need us all to buy CSA boxes, because they all need them, it's better to buy bulk, right? But a farmer doesn't need bulk, but we can have the bulk. So I will order all that and say, hey, I've ordered X amount for you, come pick them up, and they pay us back. And then also what we do is we have a website that is almost ready to be released. We're going to do it in August, of all of our farmers that we represent, all of their stores and their food, that the community can go online, learn about the farmer, and consciously and intentionally buy from that farmer what they have. You'll be able to identify them at whatever farmers markets they are in. And that's what we're just trying to show different states on different levels, is that's how you find and identify your local farmer. And then I'm a WNBA agent as well. I do that on the side, like a little side hustle. I represent players in the league, and that's it. That's my background. Yeah.
You are a busy, busy, busy woman.
So are you.
Let's see. Any other questions for Dionne? Feel free to come off mute or drop it in the chat.
I did forget to mention one thing. I'm also the vice president, my president would kill me, the vice president of the Phoenix Food Co-op, which is the first of its kind in Arizona. We are a online, at this time, grocery store who's owned and ran and decision made by its members. So you can be a member at the Phoenix Food Co-op for $100 for the year. That gets you special benefits in the grocery store. You still would have to, order and pay for whatever you want from each farmer and local producer. But everything we do, everything we are, is behind the member. The member drives us. There are also dividends that you can receive if we make profit as well. So it's a really cool way, a different way of a setup of a business that I'm still learning as a co-op leader. But that is also another position that I hold in Phoenix as well. Oh, thank you, Brooke. You're awesome. I didn't want to fail Erica, so I tried to make a really nice presentation.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Let's see. It's another question. How do you help the bees? Any insight on bees?
Yeah. One of our, I don't know much about bees, but that they're excellent pollinators, which I have another pollinator thing to say, but one of our community farmers or gardeners is a beekeeper as well. And there is a bee area on our 19 acres of land that's very far away from us. But we just know that they're really, really good pollinators and we welcome them in our gardens. But we don't necessarily help them. We are supported by Avioli. I hope I'm saying it right, which is a local beekeeping organization that teaches kids on how to do beekeeping. We just started partnering with them to embed those classes into our kids class program. So hopefully we'll know more about them. But right now we know we're there. We know that they're very, very helpful. And we're trying to learn and educate ourselves more on the importance of bees. And then the honey and the pollinator. We recently just got a donation from Harry Styles of $17,000, and he chose the title Pollinators. That was his nail polish for his nonprofit. So that's what made me think of it and the bees. So it's just different things like that Project Roots does. Is we were getting this attention. We were featured. My co-founder left the bubble when it was WNBA. And to do this, and that got a lot of natural attention. Like, man, she quit her job just to, grow food for the community, and then she's giving that food away. She's not even like selling it to make a profit. So because of that, we've just been able to be supported by NBA players, WNBA players, Mr. Harry Styles, who now I stream his music with my daughter very frequently to show gratitude. And we're just going to keep growing and building and trying to get that awareness out on really it's important to grow your own food. And our farmers are important, because if we don't support them, we're in trouble, right? What if we get another COVID, or what if our grocery stores close? Are we ready? Do we know how to grow something? Maybe not everything, but are we able to take care of ourselves is what I would leave you with.
Definitely. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dionne. What is, I know that you added it at the end of your presentation, but what is the best way for people to contact you if they have additional questions?
Yeah, my farmers would say this is the best way, a text message or a phone call. So my main number, I have 2 numbers, but my main one is 602-317-9554, and I'll put it in the chat. I sleep with that phone, literally. I'm single. So call me or text me anytime. I'm here for all of you.
Thank you. Awesome. Well, I can see, some great comments. Everyone has loved hearing from you. And I'm so glad that you could join us and just share more about you, about the organizations that you're with, about sustainable agriculture. I mean, there's just so much. Oh, I see another question. Our organization will soon be bringing on a new Vista to start a community garden. I'm here taking notes to pass on to her. What is the minimum amount of land we would need? We are a small nonprofit, and do you know if farmers donate any of their land?
Those are so, I'm excited for you. That's wonderful. Congratulations. Great that you're going to have support, because that's what you need. You need humans to have a successful community garden. Katie Hobbs just announced that she passed a bill. It's $100,000 for community gardens. So you should look into that. I don't know if it's school gardens or community gardens, but if it is, there might be some funding there for you if you're in Arizona. What is the minimum amount of land? A backyard, a grow box, a pot, a grow pot. It doesn't even have to, your garden doesn't even have to be in play for you to start growing food and teaching whoever you're teaching, whoever your audience is, how to do it. So a small little grow pot on Amazon for $12 is the smallest amount of land you need, and all the way up. Good to see you too, Becca. You're like in the center of my presentation. So I kept staring at you. I'm like, I know that face. It's great to see you as well. Happy you're hanging out with us still. You're in Arkansas. Okay, so yeah. Okay. Can you email me so we can chit chat? I think her name is Cindy. Yep, I would say it's Cindy. Okay. Yeah, let's chat. Let's see if we can identify. I'd love like a video, maybe if you have, or pictures of your community garden area. If you want me to talk to your new land manager, we can talk about soil testing or different ways to grow. If there's any indoor spaces that you want to grow or put a tower garden in, I'm happy to talk to you about those things as well.
Awesome. All righty. Well, thank you again, Dionne. We have, your number, we've got your email. There's many ways that people are able to contact you. I'm so surprised you gave out your phone number but I'm glad you did. That's so nice. I'm sure a lot of people are really going to appreciate that. All righty. Well, if any other questions, of course, you know how to contact Dionne. You also all have my email. And it was just, again, so nice to see you today. Thank you so much. And yeah, I think that's it.
For having me, and have a blessed day. I'll remove myself from the line, but thank you for the space. I really appreciate the opportunity, Erica.
Thank you. All right, everyone, have a wonderful day.